Turning 80. It's a milestone few reach, but those who do carry stories few can imagine. Imagine witnessing nearly a century of history, wars and peace, revolutions in technology, social upheavals, and moments of quiet beauty. You've seen the world transform in ways unimaginable to younger generations. You've lived through personal triumphs and heartbreaks, experienced love and loss, and learned lessons that only time can teach. But what happens after you turn 80? What new truths begin to reveal themselves when the pace of life slows and the days start to feel both precious and fleeting? What does it truly mean to live fully at this incredible stage of life? Today I'm sharing 5 realities you need to know after turning 80. Realities that might surprise you, challenge you, and most importantly, inspire you to embrace this new chapter with grace and joy. Reality number 1. Time feels different. And that's a gift. When you're young, time often feels like your enemy. It's like a fast-moving train you're desperately trying to catch or keep up with. There are deadlines at work, responsibilities at home, bills to pay, kids to raise, and so many things demanding your attention. You're constantly rushing from one task to the next, trying to do more, be more, and achieve more. Remember those days when the week flew by and before you knew it, it was already Friday? Or how summers seemed to last just a blink? That's how time felt for most of us in our youth. A blur. Sometimes it even felt like there was never enough time to really enjoy life because you were too busy chasing after the next goal. But here's what's truly remarkable. After you turn 80, something changes. Time slows down. Not in a boring, dragging way, but in a way that gives you space to breathe and savor life. Let me tell you about my friend Margaret, who just turned 82 last year. When she was younger, Margaret was always on the go, working 2 jobs, raising 4 kids, managing a household, and volunteering at her church. She barely had a moment to herself and always complained about how there was never enough time. But now, Margaret's days are different. She wakes up slowly, enjoys her cup of tea on the porch while listening to the birds sing, and watches the sunrise. She told me once, "I never thought I'd say this, but I actually enjoy sitting quietly. I'm not rushing to the next thing anymore. I notice the little things, the way the light filters through the trees, the sound of children playing in the park. It's peaceful." This slowing down is not about boredom or having nothing to do. It's a chance to live more mindfully, to be fully present in each moment. Imagine feeling the gentle warmth of the sun on your skin or hearing the soft laughter of a grandchild playing nearby, and truly feeling that moment deep inside you. This new relationship with time is one of the greatest gifts of turning 80. You begin to appreciate the present instead of worrying constantly about what's next. The frantic pace of youth fades away, replaced by calm and deep satisfaction. Margaret says it's like finally being able to live life on her own terms. And that feeling? It's priceless. Reality number 2, your body may weaken, but your spirit can grow stronger. Turning 80 often comes with some undeniable physical changes. Maybe you've noticed that you don't move as quickly as you once did. Maybe certain aches and pains have become familiar companions, or you need to be more careful with balance and energy. Some days are easier, and others feel like a struggle just to get through. Take my Uncle Joe, for example. Joe was always the picture of health. He ran marathons well into his 60s, climbed mountains in his 70s, and was known for his endless energy. But when he turned 80, things changed. He started feeling the weight of his age more physically. His knees ached, he couldn't climb stairs as easily, and his long morning walks became shorter. It was frustrating for him at first. But here's the beautiful paradox that Joe discovered, and that many others come to realize. While the body may weaken, the spirit can grow stronger. Joe's physical limits forced him to slow down, but they never stopped his heart or mind from growing. In fact, he found himself becoming more resilient, more patient, and more emotionally strong. The hardships he'd faced over the years, losing friends, battling illness, the ups and downs of life, had deepened his understanding and compassion. He began volunteering at a local community center, mentoring younger runners and sharing his life stories. His spirit was vibrant, full of wisdom, and even more connected to those around him. Many people after 80 find that their emotional and spiritual strength becomes a source of power. You start to see life with clearer eyes, focusing less on what you've lost physically and more on what you've gained emotionally and mentally. And here's something inspiring. Your passions don't have to fade just because your body does. Some of the most incredible artists, writers, and thinkers have created their best work in their 80s and beyond. Just look at the painter Grandma Moses, who started painting in her late 70s and became world famous after 80. Or author Frank McCourt, who published his first book at 66 and won a Pulitzer Prize well into his 80s. The key is to listen to your body, treat it with care, and respect its limits. But don't let those limits define who you are or what you can achieve. Your spirit, your creativity, your joy. They can continue to shine bright, no matter your age. So like Joe, many discover that the 80s are not a time of decline, but a time of transformation, where inner strength becomes the true measure of health and vitality. Reality number 3. Relationships become more precious, and sometimes more complex. Reaching 80 years old means you've likely experienced some of life's toughest losses. Many people at this age have had to say goodbye to spouses, siblings, close friends, people who once felt like permanent fixtures in their lives. These losses hit hard and remind us just how fragile and precious human connection truly is. Take my grandmother Helen, for instance. She lost her husband 5 years before she turned 80. After 60 years of marriage, the quiet of her home felt overwhelming. The empty chair at the dinner table was a daily reminder of what was gone. She also missed friends who had passed on or moved far away. But what Helen discovered was this: the relationships she still had became even more important. Every visit from her children, every phone call from a friend, every shared meal wasn't just a routine, it was a treasure. She started looking forward to weekly phone chats with her granddaughter, who shared stories about school and dreams. Those moments carried deep meaning and filled her heart in ways she hadn't expected. However, relationships at this stage can also become complicated. Sometimes family members live far away or get busy with their own lives. Health issues can make it difficult to visit or communicate as often as you'd like. And misunderstandings or old disagreements may linger, creating emotional distance. Helen experienced this too. There were moments she felt lonely, even when surrounded by family during holidays. It was a reminder that physical presence isn't always enough. Emotional closeness takes work, patience, and forgiveness. The reality is that nurturing these connections requires effort from both sides. It means choosing kindness over frustration, patience over impatience, and forgiveness over resentment. It means reaching out to rekindle old friendships, even if it feels awkward, or finding new communities that welcome and support you. Helen joined a local book club for seniors, where she found new friends who shared her love for stories and laughter. She began attending weekly community center events, where she met others navigating similar experiences. These new relationships brought joy and comfort, proving that connection can grow even later in life. At 80, relationships become deeper, richer, and far more meaningful. You no longer take companionship for granted. Every genuine smile, every heartfelt conversation is a gift. Yes, relationships can be complex, but they are also the lifeblood of a fulfilling life. So if you or someone you know is navigating this stage, remember, it's okay to ask for help, to reach out, and to open your heart. Because the bonds we nurture now will bring light and warmth to these precious years. Reality number 4, it's okay to let go of what no longer serves you. For most of our lives, we carry a heavy load of obligations. There are careers to build, children to raise, bills to pay, and countless expectations from family, society, and even ourselves. We spend decades trying to prove our worth, to meet standards that sometimes feel impossible, and to hold on to things, both physical and emotional, that we think define us, but when you turn 80, something remarkable often happens. Many people discover a powerful, freeing truth. It's okay to let go. Let me tell you about my friend Grace. For most of her life, Grace was a perfectionist. She managed a busy household, cared for her aging parents, volunteered at church, and kept her home immaculate. She felt responsible for everyone around her and believed she had to say yes to every request. It was exhausting. When Grace turned 81, she hit a turning point. She realized she was carrying too much, too many responsibilities, too many expectations, and too much emotional baggage from old regrets and grudges. One day, after a particularly tiring week, she sat down and made a list of everything she felt she had to do. Then she asked herself, which of these really matters to me? It was a revelation. Grace started saying no more often. She stopped trying to control everything and everyone. She forgave old hurts, even those she thought were too deep to heal. She donated belongings she hadn't touched in years, simplifying her home and her life. This process of letting go created a surprising sense of peace and joy. Grace felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She had given herself permission to focus on what truly mattered: her health, her happiness, and her passions. She started painting again, something she'd loved in her youth but had abandoned decades ago. She spent more time with her grandchildren, not out of obligation but out of pure joy. She allowed herself to rest when she needed to, without guilt. Many elders describe this stage of life as one of the most liberating parts of aging. It's like shedding unnecessary weight so the soul can breathe freely. Letting go of grudges, perfectionism, and even material possessions opens up space for new experiences, new connections, and new happiness. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by years of shoulds and musts, remember Grace's story. It's okay to let go. In fact, it's essential. This stage of life is your chance to live simply, deeply, and joyfully, free from the burdens that no longer serve you. Reality number 5. Legacy becomes more than just memories. It's about impact. When we're young, the idea of legacy can feel distant, abstract, or even a little intimidating. It's often thought of as something that only famous or wealthy people leave behind: big monuments, piles of money, or stories told for generations. But once you reach 80, legacy takes on a whole new meaning. It becomes urgent, real, and deeply personal. Legacy is no longer just about what you leave behind after you're gone. It's about the impact you make every single day, the kindness you show to others, the wisdom you share from your life's experiences, the love you give to family, friends, and even strangers. Let me share the story of Samuel, a man who turned 83 last year. Samuel spent most of his life working as a school teacher. He loved helping children learn and grow. After retiring, he could have simply settled into a quiet life, but he chose a different path. Samuel started volunteering at a local community center where he helped young adults with job applications and life advice. One day, a young woman named Lisa came to Samuel feeling lost and unsure about her future. Samuel took the time to listen to her, share stories about his own challenges when he was her age, and encouraged her to believe in herself. A few months later, Lisa got a job and even returned to thank Samuel for his guidance. Samuel realized his legacy wasn't in material things or even just in the stories his family might tell about him. His true legacy was the impact he had on people's lives, the hope he inspired, the support he gave, and the love he shared. Many elders like Samuel find deep satisfaction in mentoring younger generations, volunteering in their communities, or passing down family stories and traditions. These acts become living legacies, footprints left in the hearts and minds of others. And here's the beautiful truth: it's never too late to start shaping your legacy. Whether it's teaching a skill, sharing a recipe, writing letters to loved ones, or simply showing kindness every day, your actions matter. Legacy is not about how big or famous your impact is. It's about authenticity, love, and the small moments that add up to a meaningful life. So, if you're over 80 or approaching that milestone, Remember Samuel's story. Your legacy is being built right now, in the choices you make and the lives you touch. And that's a powerful, beautiful thing. Turning 80 is not the end. It's a new beginning. A chance to live more intentionally, love more deeply, and leave a lasting mark on the world. If you're approaching this milestone or know someone who is, remember, these realities aren't barriers. They're invitations to slow down, to embrace change, to cherish connections, to let go of the unnecessary, and to leave a legacy filled with meaning. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories and insights about life's most meaningful stages. Here's to living fully, no matter your age.